Yeah, it is, and I think that the really important thing to know about that is that it's not something you turn around in a week. I mean, it's you look at any study of expert performance, and it's a long-term process. And at the moment we're not good enough in that area. We're well aware of that. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. But it is something that we have to work extremely hard on. We do work extremely hard on, and there's no substitute for repetition, and we've just got to keep working and working and working. But I'm really confident that the players have the capabilities, and they perform really well in those areas of training. But when the pressure comes on, we're not quite good enough at the moment. So through that repetition and that work on the track, I'm sure that'll come. We've just got to be. It's difficult. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating, I'm sure, for our supporters. It's incredibly frustrating for the other players, and it's frustrating for coaches. But there is no substitute for hard work in that area, and that's what we'll continue to do. It's not a short-term process.
Speaking of frustration, it was there in the first 10-15 minutes of the game. You really had them on the ropes almost. And then from there, sort of they were slowly able to break it down. As you say, when the pressure came on them, they just couldn't maintain what they'd started.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean, we were headed. The Swans looked like at one stage probably running away with the game, but we got things back on our terms. So, there's absolutely no question of effort. There's no question of our players' intensity. And if you look, I know I sound like a broken record here, but you look at statistics and you say when you win contested possession 155 to 131, you win clearances 41 to 29, and you go inside 50, 53 to 48. They're pretty key fundamentals of the game. They suggest that you can win the ball in a contest. They suggest that you can clear the ball from congestion in a stoppage, and you can give your forwards enough opportunity. But we kicked 9-17. And we turned the ball over at crucial times. But last year against a mature Sydney side, twice we were comprehensively beaten in those areas. So I know that the football world looks at win-loss, and that's ultimately what you're judged on. But as coaches, we look at the improvement in the side. We've improved in that area, but we're just not executing and finishing off our games well enough. But with hard work, that polish will come, and we've got players with that capability.
Do you take any comfort at all from having those numbers in your favour, or is it the 71, 72 that really counts?
Oh, that's what counts on the scoreboard. But I've said constantly that we're after improvement, and we're getting that. We're not getting the results. I think we've had 4 games with a combined loss total of 28 points. So people sometimes don't fully understand what a fine line it is between being sitting pretty in the top 8. But really, as coaches, you know exactly where you are, whether you've managed to jag those wins or not. In our case, we're sitting, on the wrong side of the win-loss ratio. But as coaches, we know that we've improved in the key areas that we needed to improve on from last year. And that's the ability to give yourself the chance to score in the first place. Now we've got to keep working on that skill execution so that we can polish our game up enough so that we can really hurt sides on the scoreboard. And you're right. We could have put Sydney under enormous scoreboard pressure early on in the game today, and we weren't able to do that. And that's why we're not in the top 8.
Just one shot in particular, Brad. Lindsay Thomas in that first quarter, he probably hasn't been kicking that accurately this year, and that was a shot from 20 metres out.
No, the stats suggest he hasn't been kicking accurately, Joe.
What do you do to try and restore his confidence? From the outside, it seems as if he's lacking a little in that area.
Yeah, look, the thing about Lindsay is he's actually, technically a pretty good kick. He can have hundreds of shots during the week of training and kick 90 of them, 90 out of 100, and then go out and miss that shot early in the game. So, with Linz, it's like a golfer. You practice your golf swing, and the key to a golf swing is being able to repeat the same good swing time after time after time, under the heat, and under the pressure of the moment. And Lindsay's got to keep working on his goal-kicking routine, his goal-kicking action, so that he's able to repeat that under pressure.
Do you think it'll turn for him? You've got that?
Absolutely. I've got no doubt. But no doubt about it.
Scott Thompson was someone who did manage to kick 2 goals, surprisingly, and seems to be taking the game on. Was that the best game he's played since you've been at the club? It
was one of his better games, but I thought he was terrific last week too. So I think Scotty, by his own admission, didn't have the best start to the year, an interrupted pre-season, but the last 2 weeks he's been, playing really good, strong, proactive defence. So, it was a good performance from Scotty today.
Just wondering immediately after the game how careful you have to be as coach of the team. Like, as you say, there's so many fundamentals that they're getting right. But what do you emphasise? Do you emphasise the fact that they are having a crack at because you're 2-7 and you don't want the season to go into a free fall? But obviously there's some negative things that you've also got to just keep hammering away on as well. Just wondering how careful you have to be with that.
Well, as a coach, your role is to be as effective as possible. How do you be an effective coach? And that's to help your players improve and help them perform on game day. So, there's very little I can say to them after the game that's going to help them play better next week. So we've got to emphasise the work we've got to continue to do on the track. We've got to reinforce doing a lot of things well to give ourselves an opportunity. But we've just got to reinforce how important it is to do the amount of skill work that we need to do on the track. And the game has probably gone a little bit down the sports science track of managing load. We're not at that stage. We're at the stage where we need an enormous amount of skill development work.
Todd Goldstein was clearly inconvenienced in the second half. What's the early call on his fitness?
He just got a knock to the elbow. He's able to come back on, so we think he's fine. And his 53 hit out suggests he was okay.
No structural problems there?
No, not that I'm aware of to this point.
You had the boys in for a while after the game. What was the message there, or the tone of the message?
Pretty much what I've spoken to you guys about at the press conference, that we're doing a lot well, but we're badly letting ourselves down, with our execution. So we've just got to continue to work on that. And it's important for young players to know that it is a fine line. And they should always be bitterly disappointed with defeat. And if they ever finish a game in defeat and don't feel that, then they've got to question why they're playing in the first place. But in terms of what we've got to do, we've just got to reinforce how important it is to spend that time on the training track.
You need to go back to the umpires department. Sorry, Rog. You went to them this week about some things from last game and got two of the same umpires. Were you happy with their performance or those calls late?
Oh, look, we've tried all different tacks with umpires, engaging them, speaking to them during the week, having them down, going to see them. We just let them do their job now. We're not going to do that again. We just control what we can control and let the umpires do the job to the best of their ability.
Just the fact that you put in so much effort for a 2-7 reward, how big's the danger, approaching the midway part of the season that things start to drop off? The things that as you say, the execution's going to take time, but you've got to keep them trying as hard as they are.
Yeah, that's the challenge, and I'm really fortunate in that regard because we have genuine competitors in our side that are proud in their performance and or have pride in their performance. So that won't be an issue.
Did you get the injuries out of today?
No, not other than Goldie's elbow, but I'm sure that's fine because he came back on. But other than that, I think we've got a clean bill of health.
Anyone back, Scotty, next week?
Well, Ryan Bastanak, his return is imminent, so he's going to play his first game of the VFL reserves this week. So we'll just have to manage and monitor his return to AFL footy. But he's on the way back, so he's the main one.